All right, man. Welcome back to Kingdom Come Chiefs podcast. I'm here with my friend. Let's do it again, dude. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
All right, good to hear, bro. What'd you think of that game?
You know, I never lost my doubt in this game. When I was looking at it, I was like still very winnable. And I think what the kill shot was that run that he had. Was it like a 17-yard run?
Yeah.
And that run was like, I think that was like the kill shot. And I was like, oh, they're gonna win this game now. It's over. But I never lost my confidence, man. It's like, it's Patrick, it's the Chiefs. They can win gritty games. They can win. They can blow you out. They can win in a whole bunch of different ways. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. You got to win those type of games to get to the playoffs and get into Super Bowls. If you want to consider yourself a contender, you got to win those types of games. So,
I want to piggyback on that because I was thinking last night during the game, while the game was still up in the air, I was sitting there thinking, you know what? No matter what happens in this game, I am not going to be negative on the YouTube show, no matter what happens, because I think we needed that game. I think we needed a gritty game, like you called it, a tough physical game against. It was a playoff. I think the announcer said it last night. It's like a playoff game.
Right.
Felt like a playoff game. It was played like a playoff game. And we did enough, man. We did enough to win. And it wasn't pretty all the time. Sometimes it was. Most of the time it wasn't. But we did what we had to do. And we overcame some adversity, a lot of adversity. And ultimately, nobody checked out of the game. Nobody mentally checked out of the game. Nobody got down on themselves. Nobody complained about the referees. Nobody let the snowball start rolling down the hill. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's super important. And I think more than what the win is worth, I think that experience, especially for the rookies on defense, is worth so much. So much. Probably more than we can quantify here in this show. That was worth just so much. Those are my overall thoughts. I know there's going to be some people frustrated with some things. I know there's people frustrated with the blocking. And before we get into anything, I'm just going to say, don't be frustrated with the offensive line. That's a really good defensive line. And they played a really good game. And those guys get paid too. And you can't just always say, oh, we need a new offensive line every time somebody plays a good game against us.
No, that defensive line, they have probably one. I would actually say they probably have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. I'd probably say it's a top 3 defensive line in the league.
Yeah. Jeffrey Simmons is the real deal.
Yeah, he's a menace.
Yeah.
He is absolute menace.
Yeah.
And you know what? For all that chirping he was talking about, he really came in there and backed it up.
He did, bro.
So you can't be mad. I mean, he still took a loss, but he did back up what he. Look, you're probably not. Even when come playoff time, you're probably not going to see any type of defensive line like that one.
Not unless we face him again, which I kind of hope we don't.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think he will. I'm looking at them right now as probably being a division winner. And color me crazy if I say this. I'm questioning right now if Buffalo's going to win their division. And
it's possible. Anything's possible.
So it could be Buffalo, Tennessee, 4 and 5 seed, and is what it is.
Dude, Tennessee, I mean, they just played an amazing game. They played almost the same. I wanted to show the All-22. We were talking about that before we got on. The All-22 is not available yet. What I really wanted to highlight in the All-22 was their defensive line alignment and the stunts that they were running and why they were running them. And Chris Collinsworth did a great job last night of talking about it. I kind of wanted to get into it a little bit more and kind of show what they were doing and why. But it worked against us last year, and it worked against us this year too.
And I was wanting to ask you, do you think that we see more defensive line alignments like that this year? Or is that just going to be like a one-time thing because Tennessee has the line to be able to pull that off?
It's a little harder to do with four fronts. And I know to the average fan, when you're looking at the game last night, you're going to say, well, they ran a four front. No, they didn't. They ran a variation of the 3-4 where they walked the linebacker down. And I believe it's a 3-4 over. 3-4 over is what it's called. But it's what I'm saying basically is it's a lot harder to pull off with a four front because you have, instead of 3 big guys on the field, you have 4 big guys on the field. And it's a little hard to pull off some of the stunts that Tennessee was pulling off last night, because a lot of times the stunt guy was the outside linebacker, the faster guy that was pulling the stunts.
Okay.
They were kind of, I wish I could kind of draw it up, but what they were doing is they were kind of overloading one side of the offensive line with the big guys and funneling those guys. Like they would put 2 big guys over on one side of the offensive line with the rush outside linebacker and try to push Pat to that other D end who was doing basically a mush rush is what it's called. So the guy on the other side, he wasn't even trying to rush the passer. He's sitting there and he's waiting, just like Chris Collinsworth was saying. He's sitting there and waiting for Pat to come to him, and that's called a mush rush, where you don't fly upfield, you don't try to get around the tackle. You're just trying to. It's almost like setting an edge on the run play. It was really a brilliant game plan, and to answer your question, I think people should do that to us. It's smart. It's a great game plan, and it's a copycat league, and people are going to watch that film. They're going to see how well it worked, and why wouldn't you?
But do people, okay, well, let me ask you this question. Are there a lot of teams that have the personnel to do that, though?
You can try it. I mean, you can try. You might not be able to pull it off like the Tennessee Titans did. I'll tell you that. The thing about a 3 front is you can disguise a lot of things. You don't always know who's coming. You twist, you turn. One time the inside backers are coming. Next time the outside backers are coming. But usually always one outside backer is coming at least. And then you get your 3 big down linemen, and their 3 down defensive linemen are huge. They're all over 300 pounds.
Okay.
So generally speaking, unless we see other 3 fronts, if we see other 3 fronts, I would almost guarantee you they try it.
Okay.
If we see 4 fronts, it's a little harder to do. It's a little harder to do.
Okay.
Because gap integrity stuff too. Like what they do with that, it's called a 1-4. So what they're doing is they're lining up the nose tackle in a 1 technique between the center and the guard, if you can imagine that. And then the other D tackle is going to be lined up away from him on the strong side in a 4-eye technique, which is inside of your tackle. So between your guard and tackle, right? And then you had a defensive end outside of that guy, and then your other guy is outside the tackle over there. And what it does is it creates, you got to line a backer up in that gap, that B gap, to stay gap sound, if that makes any sense.
Okay. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I said I can see it in my head.
Yeah, I didn't mean to get all jargony there. I wish I could kind of draw stuff, or maybe I can do some I'll see if I can do some stuff up on Huddle and pop it up here so people can understand what I'm saying when we do the editing. So there's a visual for people.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what they're doing, man. And it's a really good technique. It's gap sound. which is important. You have to be gap sound for the run game because they played our run game phenomenally. I was frustrated with it. You can see Pacheco was frustrated with it. Everybody was frustrated that we couldn't get the run game going. And that was really the key to them giving our offense trouble. And I know a lot of people probably will disagree with me or don't realize that. But that in my opinion, was when we were struggling on offense, it's because we couldn't run.
Right. Well, a lot of people, and I think like a lot of people think that, the Chiefs don't run the football. Mm-hmm. Well, I will say this: if you go and kind of look at what they've done this year, and I don't think I'm wrong when I say this. I think a lot of times this year that their running game has really set up the passing game for them to be for them to really be able to get into that groove of what they need to be doing. That running game has set up a lot of what they do in the passing game. And they weren't able to do that. And like you said, I do also feel like that's the reason why they struggled. I think if you would have had one or two of these running backs be able to pull off a couple nice runs, that would have got them into even more of a groove. Mm-hmm. But Patrick had to put this team on his back, and I'm starting to call him Patrick Jordan. He's starting to put this. He has to put this team on his back. Hey, over my dead body. He had one of them over my dead body moments, and Tennessee was not going to come out of there winning that game. So, I give Tennessee all the credit in the world. They had a brilliant game plan, but it wasn't enough. So,
they did have a brilliant game plan. Excuse me. I really like what they did in the passing game. They were playing physical. The refs were letting them play physical. Mm-hmm. And I don't. You can't get mad at Tennessee for that, man. You can't get mad at Tennessee for playing in the way the refs are going to let them play. What I hesitate to say this because I do not like getting on refs, but that was bull. They were letting them dudes mug us, especially Travis Kelce. That one play, I tried to find it so we could show it, and I might add it in editing right here while we're talking. But that one play on the goal line where Hardman comes across on a little jet motion, and he comes down, he's going to run a flat route, and the linebacker just tosses him, man. You can't do that.
Can't even do that.
They called it on that one. They did. But there was plenty of plays where guys were getting tossed or thrown to the ground. I saw Kelce get thrown one time real bad, man. And we ended up completing the pass to somebody else. But they didn't call it. It was a no call. And it's like, man, you can't just throw dudes on the ground, bro.
Right.
I get you letting them play, but...
I think for me, and I don't like getting on refs either. Mm-hmm. But this is just something that I've seen throughout the season. It's just, I don't know, man. It almost feels like these refs have a thing that they coming after the Chiefs for some reason. I don't know. It feels like
we're not gonna get into that. I just watched I just listened to a documentary, a docuseries, or a podcast rather, called Whistleblower. Have you listened to that?
No.
Oh, my friend, listen to that. It's about Jeff Donahue,
Coach,
the basketball ref.
Yeah,
it got caught.
Yeah,
man. Listen to it, bro. It's crazy. And the next time we talk, we can have a conversation about that because I hate to say it, I hate to admit it, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but I don't know, man. Sometimes the calls are just like,
they're very ticky-tacky. And I'm like, are y'all like betting all these games? And I'm like, what is going on? Like, there's been numerous times that I've watched these games and I'm like, what are the refs doing? Especially, here's the main one, and I can't stand him, especially Carl Shepherds. That's just me.
Oh, he's flag happy.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, dude, like, I think the Chiefs are good enough. They can get past the refs, but they did it last night. Yeah, it just seemed like it's extra this year. Like,
it was extra last night for sure.
Right. So, but anyway, man, let's talk more about this game, man. Like, exactly. I want to talk about.
I'll run down the stats real quick and stop me if you hear something you want to talk about, okay?
Okay.
So, time of possession for the Titans, 26-23. Time of possession for the Chiefs, 41-28. Offensive plays, 48 for the Titans, 91 for the Chiefs. Offensive yards, 229 for the Titans, 499 for the Chiefs. Yards per play, 4.8 for the Titans, 5.5 for the Chiefs. Penalties, 8 for the Titans, 10 for the Chiefs. 51 penalty yards for the Titans, 69 for the Chiefs. Touchdowns, 2 and 2. Field goals, 1 for 1 for the Titans, 2 for 3 for the Chiefs. PATs, 2 for 2. PATs for us, 0 for 1. 2-point conversion, we went for 2 points 3 times, missed 2 of them. And
I do want to talk about the kicker. And I know that's off subject.
I kind of thought you would stop me there, honestly.
I want to stop at the kicker.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm tired of kind of people talking about Harrison Butker. Like, I don't really think anything's wrong with him. This is just what he does.
Okay.
Like, he misses PATs. He does that. Like, I believe in like 2020, or it might have been last year, he missed like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
He misses those. That's just part of who he is, and you got to take that with him. But like, if you need, like, he's a clutch kicker. Like, if you need that 50-yarder, he's going to bang that out.
Okay, so I want to add to this conversation a little bit because I have my own thoughts, and I want to bounce these thoughts off of you and hear what you have to say about it. So,
that's fine.
Number one, I'm totally in agreement. So his career percentage is like 89% or something like that. It's astronomically high. It's the second highest out of active kickers in the NFL. It's very high historically. If you go back and just open up that thing to all kickers, 89% is very high for a career. So he's a very successful career kicker. He hits more than he misses, but he misses them in weird times sometimes. And this is the thing I'm going to differ on you, or differ with you on.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something wrong with him after the injury. Something ain't right with that plant foot, I don't think. And I don't know if he's fully back yet. And I don't mean that to be an alarmist. I'm not saying we should do anything about it. I'm just saying I don't know if he's normal yet.
You know, I mean, I think for me, because it doesn't look like the ball is like, I mean, because the ball is like, when he kicks, for some reason, he always seems like he has a curve on his ball.
He does have a draw. Yeah.
And I just wonder, I don't know if it's like really his plant foot. I'm not sure. I just think I'm leaning more to the side of this is who he is, and he's going to miss those PATs.
Okay, so here's my second part of my statement for you.
Go ahead.
If you're leaning towards that's who he is, can the punter kick extra points?
Do you want to put the punter in that situation?
I'm sure he's kicked extra points in his life. I'm positive of it. And if he's money on those extra points, why not just let him kick the extra points? And then Harrison Butker can come in and kick the long kicks because that's what he's good at. He does not miss the 56-yarder. He misses the freaking extra point.
That's a.
Let Justin Reed kick the extra point.
You don't hurt though. That's the thing. You don't want to get him hurt.
Justin Reed?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to have no freak stuff happen and somebody blocks a kick and he's hurt. You don't, you know?
I'd be awful tempted to let Justin Reed kick some extra points, bro.
Yeah, I mean, but let me ask you this.
Because there's a threat there too. There's a whole nother strategic aspect of that. If you got Justin Reed kicking your extra points, there's a huge threat for a fake.
Okay, well, let me ask you this though. If you were to do that, right, and let Justin Reed do that, right, what don't you think that messes with Harrison Butker's psyche?
No, I think you could talk to him. I think it depends on how you approach it. If you're Dave Toub and like it, those guys know more than us. Obviously, they're with those guys every day. They know their psyche. They know their problems. And I'm assuming that Dave Toub knows what's going on and why he's missing those kicks. And I feel like if you have a good enough rapport with your guy, you can call him in and be like, brother, I love you kicking 56-yard field goals, and we're going to keep doing that. But I hate you kicking extra points. So you're not going to do it anymore. And, you know, like, you have a rapport with guys, they're like, yeah, I get it, coach. I don't know. I would hope Dave Toub has that rapport with him. I have no idea, man. It's just kind of a funny idea. It's a coach's mind. I always go, what could I do about that if I was in that situation? And, like, I'm telling you, I'd have to think about Reed or the punter. I forget the punter's name right now. Shame on me. Punters aren't people.
Tommy Townsend?
Tommy Townsend. Yeah. The flowing locks of Tommy Townsend.
I wouldn't be opposed to Justin Reed doing those extra points because I think that would on special teams, that would add a little fear factor to your special. Because I think a lot of guys would be like, okay, at any point in time,
there's some funny business going on.
Right. There's going to.
All right, like I was saying, there's some funny business going on. If Justin Reed's in there kicking an extra point, you got to worry about it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to doing that. I'm really not, because at any point in time he could take off and do a 2-point conversion for you. So I'm definitely not. I'm definitely don't have a problem with that. But I don't know, man. It's just I don't think Dave Toub is interested in that.
Probably not. Probably not. I would probably be the coach in the room where Dave Toub's like, "Hey, you can shut up now." That's just the way that would go, man. But hey, I have my little machinations in my head. I'm like, what if, man, that would be cool. Yeah, dude.
Man, I want to talk about, you know who I do want to talk about in this game?
Who's that?
I want to talk about the emergence here of Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yes. You go first.
He looks like, I don't know, man. He looks like another Kelsey out there, just finding little open spots in the zone, and just attacking these little open spots. It almost seems like, and I know Kelsey doesn't run his own routes. I think that's the thing that goes on. Like, a lot of people think he's running his own routes. He's not doing that. He's running routes, but he can freestyle a little bit in there.
It's breaking off the route when things aren't going right. And that's what they're talking about when they say that. Yeah.
I also think that Juju's starting to do that. He's starting to break off that route when it's not going right, and he's trying to find those open spots.
So I can think of a play specifically that the announcers were talking about it when Juju ran that little hitch.
Mm-hmm.
And what we call that is a side adjustment, and that's coached. So, and Chris Collinsworth knows that. So I don't know why he was making such a big deal about it. Like, it's a side adjustment for the receiver and for the quarterback. When they see, basically all it comes down to, it's real simple, man. Football is a simple game that is sometimes made more complex than it is. Why in the world would I run into coverage if I could just stop and catch the ball when I'm open? And that's the way I explain it to young kids. That's the way I explain it to high schoolers. If we call in our offense, we run a lot of verticals, a lot of vertical concepts. I mean, we'll call a vertical concept on the 8-yard line. I don't care. Why not? Mm-hmm. There's no reason why you can't run a vertical concept anywhere on the field. And the thing is, you just have to have quarterbacks and receivers that understand, if I see zone, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to sit down in the open grass and I'm going to wait for the football.
Right.
And I think that's what's going on. And I think Kelsey is a master at that. And I think he's probably schooling Juju a little bit on it. I'm sure that those guys are having conversations after plays and during practice and when they're playing Call of Duty together and all that kind of crap, man. I'm sure they're talking about it. Like, oh, so when you see cover 3 and that linebackers in a curl zone or a hook zone, you stop it at this or that. Yeah. When I'm attacking the seam, I'm going to sit down before I get to that safety and turn around. Yeah. I'm sure they're having those conversations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just Juju looks like he's not only rejuvenated himself, but he looks like he's matured. Like, you don't see the TikToks. You don't see the BS. You know what I'm saying?
He's in a good locker room.
Pittsburgh, like none of that locker room BS. You know what I mean? It seems like Andy Reid and got around him. Mahomes that got around him. Travis Kelce done got around him. It seems like he seems like he has grown the heck up. Mm-hmm. And I want to keep this guy here.
Yes, I was hoping you were going there, man, because that's where I was going next, dude. I'm a little worried about, dude, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, that price tag's gonna be high.
I know. I'd be kind of thinking to myself, I mean, if you win a Super Bowl, do you mind giving the Chiefs a little hometown discount to see if you can get another one?
I think for him, I'm hoping that he's mature enough to understand that, hey, man, if I can go to Team X and they'll give me $15 million a year, am I going to be as happy as I would be with the Chiefs at 10, 12 million a year?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because ultimately I'm still a multi-millionaire. Ultimately, right. I'm still going to be. And the other thing that guys like him need to realize too is the opportunity to play with Patrick Mahomes on these primetime games every week almost. Mm-hmm. And the opportunity you have to make money off the field when you're with Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
So you can make that money up that you would make at, say, I don't know, I don't want to call anybody out, but like some other team that's not quite as good. Like you go there and they pay you, I don't know, Jacksonville or something like that, you know, like they open up the checkbook on your ass and you're like, oh, yep, that's $4 million more a year. That's $12 million over the life of the contract. I can't turn that down. I'm crazy. If you're playing with Patrick Mahomes, you can make that $12 million up on freaking State Farm commercials.
Right. Because he will put you in one.
And I think Mahomes would be smart to tell his guys that are hitting free agency, like, bro, stay here. I'll make sure you get paid with endorsements and stuff like that with me.
Right. Right. And that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for, because I just think about this team right now and I'm like, I can see Juju's only 25.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see so much potential with him and Patrick.
Yep.
That is ridiculous. I mean, and I loved the connection between Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. That's a work of art.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like
Tyreek's killing it in Miami. He's killing it. He's doing great.
Yeah, he's killing it down there. He's a Hall of Famer. He's on his way to 2,000 yards.
Yeah.
But this connection that's budding between Juju Smith-Schuster and Patrick Mahomes is potentially, and okay, I know I might be near to reach when I say this, so please forgive me for saying this, okay? This is almost like Aikman and Irvin.
I know, I understand where you're going with it. Like, I get it. Yeah, I understand that's a big comparison and it's a little bit hyperbole, but at the same time, they're similar dudes, you know, as far as, well, Mahomes is way better than Aikman will ever be. But as far as Irv, they're similar dudes.
Yeah, they got some similarities, and this is just kind of like, I mean, you have the possibility. I don't know, man. I think Juju underneath Andy Reid, he could be, if he had another year in Andy Reid's system, he'd be unstoppable. I don't think anybody would be able to shut that down.
Right.
Juju, Kelsey, and Mahomes, you're not gonna be able to shut that down with another year.
That whole receiving core, man. Like, I know it's probably unrealistic. It's somebody's gonna leave. But,
I think it's gonna be hard.
If you could preserve all of those guys, if you could keep that whole receiving core the way it is this year for at least one more year, just one more, like that's special, dude.
I would love to keep McCall, and I know a lot of people have a problem with McCall.
I don't,
but I'm a McCall Hardman fan, and
I thought he played really good yesterday.
He's played good for the past 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be. I don't know, man. What I would love to see happen. I want to see him and Kadarius Toney on the field at the same time, and what type of problems that can make.
I want to see him on the same side of the field.
That's a problem. You can't do anything like that, especially when Toney gets, because. And I was telling this to my cousin the other day, that Kadarius used to be a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows a lot about coverage and how he can see it. He can see what's going on. Like Kelsey used to be a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that helps him like read those coverages. He can read them better than a lot of people. So he already knows what you mean, you know?
I don't think that we've even begun to see what Andy has in mind for this receiving core. I know with my very simple little slow brain that I have tons of ideas of what I would do. And I know Andy is like light years ahead of me, man. But I would be very surprised if we don't see a quad set come out with all four of the wide receivers over on one side and Travis Kelce off by himself, isolated. What do you do? What do you do?
What are you gonna do with that? What are you gonna do with that? Because I am telling you, like, even what I saw the little bit of Kadarius Toney play,
mm-hmm.
I was like, he's going to be a menace, a absolute menace.
Imagine this too. Imagine lining up in that quad set where you got, Juju and Valdez and Kadarius Toney and I don't know, Sky Moore or Hardman, either one on that left side, and over on the right side you got Travis Kelce isolated with a corner all by himself over there. What's the safety going to do? He's going to move over to the middle of the field, and now Travis Kelce's all by himself, or is he going to double him, and then you got four guys over there that you got to cover with four? That's one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad news. And then you can motion. Why wouldn't you just motion Sky Moore into the backfield? You can run with him.
Yeah.
You still got to protect the run. Like,
yeah, that's a lot of trouble. I don't know, man. I think that this receiving core it still has so much potential to be special.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't reached the peak.
Mm-hmm.
And I think probably you're going to see and I'm calling probably by week 11, week 12, no injuries. If no major injuries are there or anything like that, you're going to see the peaking of this receiving core. And I'm telling you,
you saw glimpses of it last night in a couple of the
right
games when everything was just cooking. And don't make any mistakes. Tennessee had a great game plan. They were playing great defense, but there was a couple of series that we had last night where they didn't have anything for them. They're like, we can't stop that.
All right. They can't do anything with it. And I was just like, I saw, and I'm going back to Kadarius Toney.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him knock Bud Dupree, excuse my language, I saw him knock him off his. Yeah. He was trying to rush the passer. He knocked him off his on a block. And for you to do that to Bud Dupree,
mm-hmm.
while Bud Dupree is coming at you full speed, I was like, Darius is a problem.
He's a physical freak, dude.
He is a physical problem.
Everybody thinks he's small. He's not small. He's not a small dude. He's 6 foot and 195 pounds. Like, he's not a little dude. Like,
yeah,
he's probably 1% body fat too. Like, the dude's just rocked. He's a freaking rock, and he's at 190 pounds. Which, I mean, a lot of linebackers nowadays are 220.
Right.
So, you got a guy at a linebacker that outweighs him by 20 pounds. I mean, okay.
Right.
You know.
Right.
He's a problem.
Yeah, he's when he gets really into this playbook.
Mm-hmm.
I've told people how I thought about that. I said I think that's the thing. I would love to have Odell. If you were to get Odell,
what we would do. I mean, he'd be great for my Madden team, but I don't know what we would do with him.
I mean, it would send you over the top. I already think you're over the top now if Tony gets a hold of this playbook and really gets a hold of it, a grasp of it. Which I have no doubt. Oh.
Hold on. My bad. Remind me that we got to come back to this Kadarius Toney thing, because I expected to see something last night that I didn't. But please continue.
No, what I was saying is that when he gets a hold of this playbook, I think that's going to send you over the top.
Yeah.
But if you were to add Odell to this,
mm-hmm.
with Odell already being more of a freestyle type of receiver, and Mahomes already being a freestyler, and Kelsey, there's not a defense that's going to be able to do anything with that. Like, what are we going to do?
Is it the 04 Lakers, though?
With Shaq and Kobe?
Gary Payton, Karl Malone.
No.
And
they
Shaq and Kobe. And they had everybody on that team, bro.
Lost.
I know. That's what I'm worried about. They had too much going on.
No.
They just had too much going on that team, and sometimes adding that one more piece is a detriment. I would love to see Odell just for the sake of it, because I'm an offensive junkie, and I just think there's so much you could do with it. I agree with you, but I just worried about there's not enough footballs to go around as there is. We hit 11 receivers last night.
Yeah.
Would we throw the ball 60 times or something, man? That was crazy.
Almost 70 times, man. And just,
you're right. Almost 70.
Yeah.
68 times.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just being a greedy fan. That's all it is. But I'm being a greedy fan. But
I think it was 11 different receivers last night, though, wasn't it?
11 different receivers did catch the ball.
I think why we let Tyreek go, man, because I think if you have that one dude that has to eat in this offense, it doesn't become as prolific as it can be. Because you see what's going on in Miami. Waddle and Hill, that's it, dude. If your name's not Waddle or Hill, you're not getting the damn ball.
Right.
We'll see where that goes for him in the playoffs. I don't know.
They're going to make the playoffs, but I don't know how far they're going to get. I just kind of think teams, you come against the right team, they're going to shut that down. They're going to shut one of them. Well, they're going to get into his face all night, and that's going to throw him off. But,
or they're going to bracket Hill, and they're going to play that deep coverage stuff. I mean, teams know how to stop him, dude. They did.
Deep thirds? Are you talking about deep thirds?
Yeah, they play any kind of shell, man. Any cover 4, cover 2, whatever. They just backing them way off, 2 deep safeties, and saying you're not going over the top.
Right.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how far you get with that in the playoffs, but I don't know.
Got a running back because they needed one, so that was smart.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just excited for these Chiefs, man, because I don't know, man. I just you can just kind of see, and I think I've had conversation with you before about this. I said they look really chippy, and they look like they look like they have something to prove.
Yes,
and you could tell they just got that mentality that we got our handed to us in that championship game last year. Nah, we them dudes. Like,
I loved it last night.
Yeah, and they gave it to him, and it was a gritty game, and it was like, I'm telling you, and that's a difference between the Chiefs. To me, the difference between the Chiefs and the Bills right now, when you seeing the Bills in these close games, they not winning.
Tennessee would have beat the Bills last night.
Tennessee would have beat them last night. If they had to play them last night, Tennessee beats them.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that when you see these close games happen, the past 2 games that they've lost have been these tight games and teams that buckle down on defense. And they and again, and I think I've told you this before, like in our conversation, you shut Diggs down, you got a great chance of beating them. And that's what teams are doing. They shutting Diggs out of these games. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying is that I don't know what's going on with Buffalo. I think teams are catching up to what Ken Dorsey's doing.
Gabe Davis isn't that guy yet either.
Oh, no, Gabe Davis is definitely. Gabe Davis needs.
He may be that guy someday, but he's not yet.
I'm gonna tell you what he needs. He needs an offensive guy, to come in and kind of teach him some stuff. So I'm hoping he hits free agency and gets to like. I would love to see him get to Sean McVay. That's what I love to see him do. I would love to see him get to McVay. I would love to see him get to McVay.
It could happen.
But yeah, I would love to see that happen. But
Buffalo's going to have some salary cap issues coming up.
Yeah. And I'm hoping they just gotta, they have a lot of stuff going on, and I'm hoping Josh Allen's okay. I don't want that man hurt.
Sure.
But that's just me.
For sure.
I kind of like the rivalry.
Right. Yeah, I get it, dude. But like you said, I don't want to see anybody hurt, man.
No, I don't wish injury on anybody. But I do. Let's talk about this defense, though, man.
I was hoping you would say that, brother, because...
Hey, man, we on the same wavelength. That's why we're friends.
Yeah, man. Because this defense, I thought they played a phenomenal game. And I know Malik Willis made some rookie mistakes, and he's not their starter, and he's this and that and other thing. He's a first-round pick. They picked him for a reason, because they envisioned him running that offense, and you can see why, because they want to run that read option stuff. They want to throw the ball 10, 15 times a game, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And when you're down, or when you're trying to stay ahead of the Chiefs, you can't do it.
No, they're gonna get you at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You can't run that stuff on that team. I do like Malik Willis. I think that he, you know what? I don't think that he played necessarily bad for what they wanted to do.
He got some quicksand over there, scrambling around, trying to hit the edge of the defense. And I think he realized, he spent his whole life being the best athlete on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I think last night he realized he wasn't the best athlete on the field.
All right.
That sucks, and that hurts. That hurts your pride, but hopefully he'll grow from that.
I think he will. I think he'll be okay. But I will say this, though. As far as the Chiefs' defense is concerned, Willie Gay's a menace.
He had a game.
He is a menace, man. And him
EA Sports picks his Madden rating right now.
Him and Nick Bolton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's a killer in this, man. I am telling you, And again, I'm projecting. So we're going into week 10 next week, right? It'll be week 10, right?
Yes.
It's going to be a couple more games. Karlaftis is going to come on strong there in the end of the season. And he had a game. George Karlaftis had a game against the Tennessee Titans. And I was like, George is about to come on here about going into the playoffs, and he's about to like light it up.
I completely agree, man. I love all the rookies on defense. I love them all, dude. Like, there isn't a single one that I don't like. And to be completely transparent, on this channel, in the offseason, I didn't love the George Karlaftis pick. I wanted a more athletic, fast, bendy dude because that's what I like. But George Karlaftis, I never questioned his motor, and his motor is what keeps him in plays. And I think he's learning, and I think he's going to be good, man. I think we did a good job with him.
I think that, I'm telling you, this is going to be. I was listening to Max Kellerman today, and he was saying, if this defense becomes what they think that this defense will become, what are you going to do with this team?
They're so young, dude. They're so young. If all of these guys are even half of them develop, problems.
And what's scary is that I think all those secondary pieces are going to develop into really good corners and safeties.
Mm-hmm.
So much so, I wonder if you're going to keep L'Jarius Sneed.
You have to keep L'Jarius Sneed, dude.
I hope you do, but I wonder if you will, because maybe you think you can push one of those corners to the inside.
Yeah. I'm still on team. Got to keep LJ because he does so much, man. And you see him off the edge. You see him bring pressure. Last night I watched him off an edge pressure. That he looked like a small defensive end. The moves and the things he was doing were not a cornerback's moves.
He's a yeah. That I don't. And I will say this: shout out to Brett Veach, and more importantly, shout out to Dave Merritt, because Dave Merritt, he needs to be somebody's. I don't know if he can call plays, but he needs to be somebody defensive coordinator. Like the way that he is, you're catching these late round picks. Whoever, because what was L'Jarius Sneed was a 4th round pick, 6th round pick?
I believe a 4th round pick.
4th round pick?
Yeah.
Jalen Watson is a 7th round pick and playing out of his mind.
Playing great, dude. Playing great.
And for you to get corners late like that, usually does not work.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chiefs have,
you got to say something about the coaching too, though. The D-back coach.
So I said that's Dave Merritt.
Yeah.
I was like, that dude. They have consistently gotten late round corners, and it's worked for them.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
That you get corners out of the first round, and usually when you come out of that first or second round on a corner, they don't turn out well.
I think they're just going and they're getting their guys. They're getting what they want athletically, and they're saying Merritt can coach them up.
Yeah. He's an amazing coach. He is an amazing secondary coach, man. I give him all the props in the world. I'm telling you,
we're not as grabby as we used to be either. Because that was a problem for years, right? Like guys were just grabby and they were not playing well with good position, and they were getting a lot of penalties. Remember that? What was that?
Yeah, it just seems like I think Jalen Watson, when I watch him play, I said his form is impeccable. I said I like the way that guy plays. Mm-hmm. I like the way he plays the position. I like the way that Williams.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Williams. Yeah, Josh Williams.
Yeah. I think he's going to be really good.
Damian will edit that up and make us look real smart.
But I man, and McDuffie, I think he's lights out.
Yeah, I like McDuffie a lot, dude. The whole group, bro, the whole defense. They didn't miss on anything, dude, as far as I can tell. Brian Cook's great. I'm liking what Brian Cook is doing, dude. Like, you got 4 D-backs. Like, Collinsworth said it last night. He's like, you got 4 rookies in the back end. You can't tell.
No. I wonder what they're going to do with Juan.
I don't know if Juan can stay. I don't know. It depends on what he wants money-wise. I don't think they will pay him. Do you think they will?
No. I don't think they like him, to be honest with you about it.
I don't understand it either. Like, I like Juan. I like some of the stuff he brings to the team. I don't get what Spag's problem is with him.
Yeah, I don't think he's a fan. But I think it in my mind.
Like,
I think
last year they benched him for what? Like, he was clearly better than Dan Sorensen.
Right. I don't know what they were doing. Like, well, they were saying, like, last year, I remember them talking about he was taking third team reps.
Yeah, I don't know
what the deal is with him. But my thing is, I think what they want to do, and I might be completely wrong, but what I think they want to do, I think the Chiefs actually just want to go in and they want to have a whole defense pretty much on rookie contracts.
You almost have to when you're paying Travis Kelce and you're paying Patrick Mahomes and you're gonna have to pay some receivers, and I mean, dude, you got to.
Yeah, I think if they
paying Chris Jones, and Chris Jones hits for what, 31 and a half or something like that next year?
19 and a half.
You sure?
I think
they changed it.
I'm pretty sure it's like 19 and a half.
Next year? Because next year's his big hit.
I think it's 19.
Okay. We'll fact check that and put it up, whichever one of us is right here. We'll put it right up here. But either way, it's a big hit. Either way. It was my understanding that his contract was on a balloon year next year where it balloons up. And we'll put whatever number it is right up here. But at any rate, you pretty much have to re-sign him in order to bring his cap number down next year, because they can't play him with the cap number he has next year.
Or they can't, well, I don't think they would ever trade him.
I hope not. That would be stupid. He's the best D lineman in football right now.
Yeah, I don't think they would ever trade him.
What I said it. He's better than Aaron Donald right now.
No, he is. There's no questioning that he's better than Aaron Donald. I just can't see the Chiefs being without a Chris Jones, and I think that's part of the reason why you get rid of a Tyreek Hill to give him another contract.
I hope so. You know? Hey, real quick, man, on the linebackers, I'm just on here looking at PFF, and everybody that watches my channel knows I'm not a huge fan of PFF scores.
I'm not either.
I just want to illustrate, this is why I'm not a fan of PFF scores. According to PFF grades, Nick Bolton is the 17th best linebacker in the league with a 71.9, which I think is BS. I think he's easily a top 10 linebacker. The second best linebacker on our team is Darius Harris, which he did a phenomenal job filling in, and I don't want to take anything from him. He's not the second best linebacker on our team, not even close. They have graded Willie Gay a 49.6 for this year. That is a replaceable player that you should cut. That's their rating. What are they looking at, bro? Like, what do they see? I don't know what they're looking at.
No, you know what? And I've heard some stuff about Pro Football Focus. And I've heard that and I don't know if this is rumor or not, but I've heard that like agents pay them.
We on a time limit too, man. So I don't know if you want to continue this conversation or not.
I do. Because I'm getting into this Pro Football Focus stuff. Like, yeah. I hear that agents pay them to get their player stats up.
Wouldn't surprise me. And why wouldn't they be able to accept that? They're not
Right.
They're not some kind of, I mean, they're a media organization.
Right. And so, but there's no way that Willie Gay should be. He's not a replaceable player. Like,
no,
you gotta have Willie Gay on this team. Like,
49.6 is a ridiculous rating for him. Hopefully it goes up after last night. Like, I don't know if they've graded him for last night's game yet. Let me look. But that's just so. Here's my problem with PFF. After doing research on their website, what I found is they will hire anybody off the street to do their grades. You don't have to have any football background. You don't have to have any film experience, nothing. They literally say that right on their website, that they will train you to grade by their system. I'm sorry, but watching film is something that I've spent my whole life learning how to do, and I get better at it year by year. But you can even see it with Seth Kaiser, and I love Seth Kaiser, but Seth has gotten infinitely better at breaking down film since when he started back in the old days when he was on the forums, man. I don't know, you were probably on the forums back then too.
Right.
You know, and he's taught himself, and Seth's awesome, dude, but he's gotten better.
Right. I'm curious to know what their grading system is.
So it's a -2 to a +2 in 0.5 increments, with a -2 basically being one of the worst plays in history and a +2 being one of the best plays in history. And then that's how they grade it, with 0.5 increments in between. So a -1 would be a pretty bad play. I would say probably Travis Kelce got a -1 on that interception last night.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's a -1 for Travis Kelce. Now, I want to know what they rated Patrick Mahomes on that play, because they are notorious for screwing him over on PFF ratings.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I've seen like even Sam Munson. He's on Pro Football Focus, if I'm not mistaken. One of the guys, main guys there. I see him going at it with people on Twitter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Over his PFF grades. So your stuff sucks, dude.
Him and Seth got into it, wasn't it him? I thought it was him.
It might have been.
Seth got into it with somebody from PFF, and Seth was basically like, and you know how Seth is. He's a lawyer and he's a real nice guy, and he's real like laid back, and to get this pastor vibe, and like, oh yes, well, I'm just questioning why you would do that. I don't understand. Could you explain it to me? You know how Seth is, right? Like, I loved it because Seth was 100% right, and he can do those arguments without people coming unglued. I can't, because I'm brash and like it'll just rub people the wrong way. You know,
right.
You're not gonna have a conversation.
I don't know, man. They do. I'm not a Pro Football Focus person. Like you said, like I've had to teach myself, and I ask questions about people that like yourself that watch film. Like I watch it, and like sometimes I don't, you know what I mean? I don't understand what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. And that's why I ask people like you questions. I have cousins that I ask questions to about people who watch film. You know,
that's how everybody learns, man. That's how I learn to this day. I'll ask coaches that I coach with, like, what am I seeing here, man? Like, I don't get it.
Right. And I just, I don't know, man. For you to say that Willie Gay PFF score is that low, and like you said, it means that he's a replaceable player. No, Willie Gay is, like, to the Chiefs at this point in time in his career, is an invaluable player on this team. You have to have him here.
That's high praise. I'm not sure if I'm quite there yet, but he's a very important player, at the very least, at a minimum.
I will say this. This is why I say he's invaluable.
Okay. You got 1 minute, then we got to start the video. Go ahead.
That's what it is. When it was at its height this year, wasn't what it was at without Willie Gay. It dipped.
We were talking about Willie Gay and kind of PFF and their silly grades and
horrible.
People. My problem with PFF is that people don't see it for what it is. I would be okay if it was just a conversational piece, just another tool to use and talk about and say, oh, well, PFF said he does pretty good. I would be okay with that. I have problems when people cite PFF as if it's gospel and that they know far more about football than I'll ever know. And you must take this as gospel.
Right. No, that I don't. I've never been a PFF guy. Like, I don't like because I don't like the way their grading system is for. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Chiefs fan, but I don't like their grading system towards quarterbacks at all. Like, because they'll have absolutely horrible quarterbacks ahead of like the really good ones. Like, you'll put Malik Willis above, I don't know, Tom Brady.
Do you know who the number one quarterback in the league according to PFF is right now?
Probably somebody horrible.
Take a guess. Throw a guess out there.
No, Trevor Lawrence.
Tua Tagovailoa.
He should nowhere near be the number one quarterback in the league.
No.
Like to in the league.
Not in the league. He's not bad, man. I'm not saying he's terrible or anything like that. I'm just saying he's not the number one quarterback in the league. I think everyone can agree on that.
That's a horrible. That is a horrible assessment.
He's above Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen.
Where's Patrick at?
Number 2. Josh Allen's number 3. Geno Smith is number 4.
I'll tell you this about Geno Smith. I don't agree with that, but I feel like I got robbed with Geno Smith.
From him being a Chief?
No, from him being like a good quarterback. Like, I wish he would have got a good quarterback coach.
Yeah.
Early on in his career. Like, I feel like I got robbed of what he should have been.
There's a lot of guys like that, man. There's a lot of dudes that I think they just ended up in a bad place, in the wrong place for them, and we didn't get to see them be better. We didn't get to see them play up to their whole potential, man. I got a guy in my head right now, and I'm trying to think of his name. God, and I love that guy too, man. Teddy Bridgewater. I loved watching him at Louisville. I loved what he did. He had a beautiful deep ball, and I know he had the injury and all that kind of stuff, but we've seen him have absolute flashes of brilliance in the league.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, can't stick anywhere, and I can't for the life of me figure it out.
Yeah, he's just out. I liked it. I lived in Louisville at the time that Teddy was playing, and I really did like the way Bridgewater was,
mm-hmm.
and I didn't like Lamar. Still don't. It's just my personal opinion. But
you don't like him, or you don't like the way he plays, or like
yeah, he's a cool dude. I've met him. He's a really cool dude. I don't get down with how he plays. Like, I would argue with people about him, and they'd be like, "Oh, he's the next Michael Vick." I said, "No, he's not." It's Cordell Stewart. That's who the hell he is. He's Cordell Part 2.
I wish that we could have seen Michael Vick in some of these offenses that have designed runs for the quarterback, or at least the read option and stuff like that, because all of Vick's running was scrambles.
Yes.
Like, they might have had a draw or two, but that was it. They didn't have any real designed runs for the quarterback,
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen, like, Vick in his prime. I would be fearful if Vick was in his prime. And
running that read option, man, just
he was running in Buffalo right now, or he was in Baltimore right now.
Yeah.
And Vic, his prime, and running with one of those two teams, I would be in fear.
I want to know who would win a race, Lamar Jackson or Michael Vick, in their prime.
Oh, I think Vic got him.
You think so? I think it's close.
Yeah, I think Vic would have him. All right, I got a good one for you. Here's a good one. You think Deion Sanders could lock down Tyreek Hill? Think he lock him up?
Woo! What era?
Prime Deion.
Does Tyreek have to travel back in time, or does Deion Sanders travel forward in time?
Prime Deion versus Tyreek right now.
Right now?
Yeah.
I think Tyreek gets him, man. Right now, I think he gets him.
You really do think that Deion?
Because of the rules of the game. Because of the rules of the game currently, I think if Tyreek had to go back in time and play in Deion's era, that Tyreek would get erased by Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
I think he would absolutely make that dude disappear.
Yeah.
But you just can't touch him, man. Like, you can't even breathe on him. And Deion, a lot of people don't know this. Deion get up in your face.
Yeah. Deion was a lot more physical than people gave him credit for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he would get up in your face. I remember when he got up in Andre Rison's face.
I don't think that's not to say that Deion would get burnt or torched or give up 200 yards or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I just think Tyreek could probably have an okay game against him.
I don't know, man. I think if it was back in Deion's prime and Tyreek had to move back, I don't think he would have a good game against Deion Sanders. I think Deion Sanders would make sure that.
I would love it. I would love it, dude. I would love that game. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I think prime Deion would have made sure he would have took pride in. Oh no, I'm shutting him down.
100%, dude, and that's why Deion's a great. But Tyreek has that in him a little bit too. I mean, we saw the Jalen, all the battles with what's his face. You know, I mean, he called him a punt returner. Remember that when he was down in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
He said, I'm gonna lock that punt returner down. Yeah, you didn't.
Yeah, he got some dog in him. He got some dog. I don't know, man.
That's a good one, man. I like that one. I would love to hear other people kind of. We almost need a panel of people to argue about that one, man. I need to get you on here with my boy Jay, and we need to have just a football conversation. He's a big 49ers fan. Me and him spend countless hours talking about this kind of stuff, dude. Like,
oh man, bring him on here, man. Bring him on here. Like, I like the 49ers is like my NFC team.
I like them. I follow them because I got two really good friends that are huge 49ers fans. So I certainly don't root against them unless they're playing the Chiefs, and then I'm talking the entire time.
That's the only way I root. I like the Chiefs more than I do the 49ers. But outside of that, I root for the 49ers.
God forbid the 49ers beat us, because I've been ruthless to those guys lately.
They get you a Super Bowl. They get a Super Bowl 1 year.
Oh man. Like, Jay's not gonna let me stop. Jay's not gonna let me hear the end of it, dude. Like, if the Niners, next time the Niners beat the Chiefs, it's not gonna be good for me. And I made that bet, and I will land it.
Man,
I'm a talker, dude. I was when I played. I still am when I coach, and I still do it with my buddies, man. Like,
they won't do anything as long as Jimmy G is there. That's it. Dude, that's a bad matchup for the Chiefs. Are a bad matchup for them.
So here's an interesting one. I know we're kind of getting off of Chiefs stuff here, but it's a cool conversation. So the 49ers, we got on the topic of Jimmy G and how much I really don't care for him, and I don't think he's all that good of a quarterback as far as NFL talent goes. Obviously, he's an NFL quarterback, so he's a good quarterback.
All right.
I don't want to be disrespectful when I say things. I just think as far as an NFL quarterback goes, he's not. I don't know. He's okay. That's where I'm at with him. He's an okay dude. And we got into the whole Carson Wentz conversation. And I was like, dude, honestly, had Carson Wentz been the quarterback for the 49ers last year, y'all might have won a Super Bowl. Y'all might have won. What do you think about that? Y'all, you could say I'm crazy, but here's okay. Here's my argument. Here's my argument.
Go ahead.
What would I tell you, or what would you think if I said that Carson Wentz's numbers last year, 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions?
Yeah, what? How many touchdowns?
27.
And how many picks?
7.
If that was it, well, with that Niners, yeah, they might have won a Super Bowl.
So here's my other argument about, and it's not all about numbers for me. I just think Carson Wentz is physically more gifted than Jimmy Garoppolo. But the other side of that coin is Jimmy G, 3,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. Or no, 12 interceptions. So you're talking about, I don't know, like 7 less touchdowns and 5 less interceptions.
But okay, well, here's the caveat to this. Do you think that Carson Wentz would work well in Kyle's system?
I do. I actually think he would be really good in that system because he's athletic. He can boot. He can do all that stuff. You're taking away some of the complex decision making, and you have actual weapons. Because when he was in Indianapolis last year with those numbers, who did he have to throw to? He had Jonathan Taylor to run, and that's a weapon, and to throw to. But as far as wide receivers, he didn't really have anybody, man. And if you go to San Francisco as Carson Wentz, and you got Kittle, and you got Debo, and you got Ayuk, and good God, put him on their roster now. I don't know.
I didn't really think about it like that, man. That's wow.
Yeah, me and my buddy got in an argument about that. It was a pretty heated exchange because I was like, dude, you guys would be better off with Carson Wentz, and he took that as an insult. I didn't mean it that way. I did not mean it that way. I just think I don't think real highly of Jimmy G, man.
Nobody does, bro. But he's and not to be disrespectful. It's like it's not meant to be disrespectful because he's an NFL, like you said, he's an NFL quarterback.
Yep.
But
I guarantee you, if any one of us was standing out on a field watching him practice, we'd all be like, "Yeah, dude, that dude's legit." Right? Because when you see that NFL talent in person, it's crazy.
Right.
But then go have him stand beside Patrick Mahomes.
Oh man, that's an unfair comparison. Like you can't compare Pat to anybody. I tell people that, man. That's like Pat's a unicorn. I will tell you this: you will never in your life see another Patrick Mahomes. Not in your lifetime.
Nope.
This is the once in a lifetime thing.
Well, here's another one then. I think Jimmy G is not as good as Derek Carr.
Wow. Really?
I think Derek Carr's a better quarterback. Now, see, Jay thinks I'm being hateful, man. I'm just taking them out of their situation and saying, okay, if I put them on the 49ers roster.
If you put Derek Carr in Kyle's system, Derek Carr might get you to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He actually might with Kittle, and you don't have all the extra and you know that Derek Carr can learn offense because he's been through so many of them.
He's a smart dude.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah.
Are we going to see Aaron Rodgers in San Francisco next year?
Mm.
You know he's from there.
Aaron's a free agent, ain't he?
He re-signed a contract, but I think there's an out. So I think he will be a free agent. That's my understanding.
Ooh. You know what?
He's from there.
I will tell you this. I would definitely put Trey on the bench. For
do you go all in and say, "Hey, we're going to win a Super Bowl"?
This is your last chance to do it.
Yeah.
Like, because you got to develop a quarterback. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and you can move on from Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Or tell Jimmy, sit your on this bench.
I think Trey would benefit from playing behind Aaron for a year. I think you just tell Aaron, like, "Hey, let's go get a Super Bowl. It's a 1-year thing. If we really love it, we'll revisit it after the offseason. But this is a 1-year deal. Go get a Super Bowl."
Right. If you telling me you gave Aaron all that plus Kittle plus IU,
CMC.
oh my God, I forgot about CMC. My God,
Bro, I'm telling you, the Niners have a window right now, and all they need is a quarterback. And if they can get it right, if they can get it fixed, those dudes are a problem. Those dudes are a problem.
All right, well, I'm gonna put. Let me put this one to you. Cause I think he's a free. No, it's 25. I looked that up the other day. What? Okay, let's put this one to you. Okay. What if Tom goes over there? Because he's from there too.
He is. I know most 49ers fans that I talk to are not on board with that one.
Really? Why?
His age and the way he looks this year. He hasn't looked great. You gotta admit that. He hasn't looked like. I mean, yeah, I get it. He won that game.
I know.
He won that game in the last second or whatever. And you know what? It was, as much as I don't care for the guy, it was good to see him step up to the podium yesterday with a pep in his step, and that was awesome. I loved it. I love confidence.
I'm not a fan of. I love the 49ers, but I've never got on board with Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm just not a fan of his. Mm-hmm. I think he would have been a lot better had he stayed in New England.
Yeah. Yep.
As a matter of fact, I will tell you, had he stayed in New England, I think they probably would have won the Super Bowl too.
All right. Yeah. Probably.
You know, but I'm not a fan. I would like to. Okay, let me ask you this question, and I know this is going to be completely off, and you're probably going to tell me that I'm nuts. All right, let's play the cards. Chargers don't make the playoffs, right?
Okay.
All right, so next year will be Justin Herbert's 5th-year option.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say he goes into his 5th-year option. Doesn't make the playoffs.
5th year already?
Yeah, because he came out the same year. Tua and if I'm not mistaken, Tua, Herbert, and Burrow came out the same season. They came out the same year. They all came.
Dang, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm distracted. I can't believe he's that old already.
Yeah, I want to say they all came out the same year.
Okay. I'll roll with it.
So let's say he doesn't make the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next year. Do you give him a big multi-year contract?
Yeah. It says here Justin Herbert was drafted in the year 2020. So
he wasn't 2020. He came out the same year Tua did.
Well, I don't know.
Out the same year.
Irregardless, whether it doesn't matter. What you're saying is, would you give him a contract? And it doesn't matter. Yeah, I would absolutely give him a contract. I think he's Physically, yeah, I
Okay.
loved him coming out of the draft. He was my number one quarterback coming out in that draft. He was. See, if you remember back to that draft,
Mhm.
um, leading up to that, he was the clear cut number one overall going into that college football season, and then he didn't have a great year, and he dropped, and then everybody was like, Justin Herbert, and everybody got on those other guys. Wasn't Fields in that draft? I don't want to talk out of the side of my mouth right now.
Justin Fields came out. Justin Fields came out in the same draft, and I want to say Justin Fields came out in the same draft that that receiver from Philadelphia came out in.
Oh, really? Let's see here.
I want to say that. Yeah, I want to say that. I am positive that Fields came out because he was like number 2 overall, 3 overall.
2020 draft, but you are correct. It was Joe Burrow was number 1 overall that year.
Yeah.
Chase Young, Jeff Okudah, Andrew Thomas, and then Tua went number 5, and then Justin Herbert. So Burrow and Tua both went before Justin Herbert.
And that was 2020?
That was 2020, bro. So we ain't there yet, man. We ain't there yet.
Wow.
But it doesn't change your argument. And I understand the question. I think it's a good question. And my answer is yeah. Like if I could, you know what you're probably thinking though is that all the 3 of those guys are due for, they're eligible to negotiate contracts next year.
Oh, okay. Because see, I was thinking that, yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
Because you don't have to take their 5th year option. You can just negotiate them as if they're in the last year of their contract, because they are, and you can sign them because it's technically a 4-year contract with a 5th year option.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
That's what we did with Mahomes. He didn't hit his 5th year option. We negotiated that contract in his 3rd year.
Dude, I don't. You know what? If I was okay, but here's another question.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're Justin Herbert, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be there?
Because
you got to go through every year.
Why wouldn't he want to be in Los Angeles?
Look at the division and look who you got to go through every year to get to where you need to be.
You don't think he's got some dog in him?
No, I don't.
Whew.
No.
After that performance he gave, man, come on.
I don't think.
No.
You know the reason why I say that? I think he has the athleticism, right? I compare him to and people think I'm nuts when I say this. I said, man, I look at quarterbacks.
That man finished that game with a broken rib, dude.
I'm telling you what I think, what I see in Justin Herbert. Okay.
Okay.
Phillip had the dog, but I don't think Phillip had the athletic ability to match his dog, right? I think Justin Herbert.
Rivers out there, man, just he letting him go. He doesn't even cuss, you know. He's over there, dadgummit.
Doggone it.
Doggone it.
But I don't think Justin. I think he has the athletic ability, but I don't think his dog matches his athletic ability.
I'm gonna go ahead and fully disagree with you on that, man. After watching him play the last game against us, where he came out there and threw the ball around, broken rib cartilage, all of that crap, dude. That dude was not coming off the field. He wasn't about to let no backup decide that game. He said, no, go sit down. I liked it.
The knock on him in college was, is he just another guy? That was the knock on him in college. Is he just another guy?
Strongly disagree with those people.
Okay. I'm telling you that, and I know I shouldn't be comparing anybody to Patrick.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, you just got on to me about that, sir.
I don't look. I like Justin Herbert, but I think he would have a better time in the NFC.
Hey man, some of those guys might jump ship and go over to the NFC just because the AFC is so loaded down with quarterbacks.
That's what I'm saying. The AFC is so loaded, and when I'm looking at, like, if you look at Joe Burrow, right?
If you're him, do you say, screw it, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna not take my contract, I'm gonna tell the Chargers I'm hitting free agency, and then do you go to Seattle?
If you talking about Herbert,
Yeah.
I would strongly consider that because he would have
From up
he,
there.
from up there. He would have the weapons. He would have the right coach.
They have weapons. They have weapons in Los Angeles.
Hurt.
They are. They're hurt all the time. They're hurt all the time, bro.
Look, and he has a young defense. And the thing about that is he got 2 young tackles. He got 2 young tackles too.
I mean, man.
I mean, if I was, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know because the team that scares me the most is Cincinnati. And will they pay Joe Burrow?
They're gonna pay Joe Burrow, man. Come on.
Walk down the road with me. Walk down the road.
All right.
Okay. Deshaun Watson just got a $250 million contract fully guaranteed.
From the Browns, them dudes don't know what they're doing. I could run an organization better than them.
Is that going to be the contract, or is that an anomaly contract? Because if that's going to be the standard, Joe Burrow can walk into there and say, well, I deserve more than that because I didn't do more than Deshaun Watson. I got y'all to a Super Bowl. Deshaun Watson ain't talking about.
Everybody said that when Kirk Cousins got his fully guaranteed contract too. It did not become the new standard because his contract was fully guaranteed. Remember?
I do remember that.
And I think with Deshaun Watson having as much trouble as he had at the beginning of his tenure here with the Browns and all that, and the dude hasn't played football in what, 2 years?
Yeah. You're right.
I don't think it's any guarantee that dude comes back and looks like the Deshaun Watson that we all knew. You know, I don't think that's a guarantee. I don't think it's a guarantee that he's still a $200 million quarterback. Do you?
No, I don't at all. But the Bengals are cheap as
They are, man. These dudes are up there buying single cigarettes in the Korean store, bro.
Yeah, they cheap as and I'm telling you, that scares
man.
That scares me for them to be like, you know what? I don't need this because I like not doing that because
we gotta get back on the Chiefs here, man. I want to talk before we end this. I want to talk about our next opponent. Any final thoughts on the Titans, man?
No, I'm good, man. We didn't talk enough about them.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. You know, I my final thoughts on the Titans is that's a hell of a football team, and I think we're gonna see them again. So that's where I'll end that. Our next opponent, Jacksonville.
Okay.
At home.
Okay.
We're at home, Jacksonville. Next Sunday. Any thoughts? Any concerns? Any worries about that roster?
I think that's gonna be a mollywop. I think unless if it's not a mollywop, it's because the Titans were so physical, they might be a little sore,
a little
hungover. But Andy Reid usually does really good against his old coaches. So
came back. Raiders got up on them 17-0, and Jaguars come back and beat them 27-20.
That ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna happen in Arrowhead. That's definitely Trevor Lawrence ain't got that in him to do that in Arrowhead. I'm gonna let you know that right now.
Who's your guy on the Jaguars for everybody to watch? Do you have a favorite Jaguar? Do you have a guy that you like on that roster?
Oh, I'm an ETN guy. I like him a lot.
ETN, yeah. I like him a lot.
I wanted him.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at him. I was like, and I've always said I wonder if you can convert him to a receiver.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because he would be a problem if you could get him converted to a receiver. But
I agree.
I'm an ETN guy. That would be the one guy that I would be watching. You gotta circle the wagons around him.
So my guy to watch for the Jacksonville Jaguars is Trayvon Walker.
You think he might have a day?
I think he's a problem if you line him up over Orlando Brown.
What about Josh Allen?
I still put Trayvon Walker over Orlando just because of the speed. And I know Josh Allen's not slow. I'm not saying he is. But Trayvon Walker is a freak athlete. We saw that at the combine, and
yeah,
he runs a 4.540. He runs a 4.540. There's receivers running 4.540s, bro. You go put that across from Orlando and say, hey, just run around me.
That's true. That's true.
So that's my guy to watch, man, for that game. I think what I have liked, and this gives me a good opportunity to talk about it. We saw it some against Tennessee. We saw it some against San Francisco. They've been giving Orlando help with those speed rushers, and they've been chipping them and pushing them back inside to Orlando and letting Orlando get his big mitts on them. Because once Orlando gets his hands on you and gets squared up to you, you're done. It doesn't matter how fast you are at that point. Like, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the solution to Trayvon Walker and the matchup issue that he creates is to chip him. And McKinnon, fully capable of that.
Okay.
Fully capable of that. Gray is fully capable of that. He had a big game. He had a nice game.
I think
that was nice, bro.
Yes, beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. What do you think? Do you got a score prediction for Jacksonville? Do you want to go out on a limb? Do you want to make a score prediction?
I will. I'm going to say Jacksonville puts up, I'm going to say they put up 17 in this game.
Okay.
I'll give them 17 points. I think the Chiefs get back to their ways of popping 30 up on the team. I'm going to say I'll say they put up 30.
Nice.
17.
All right, so I'll go ahead and do mine. As much as I gave you some crap there, I think the Chiefs are going to drop another 40-point game, dude.
Ooh!
Yeah.
You got another 40 burger coming?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
I think it's 42-10. I think Trevor Lawrence throws. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to throw 3 picks.
Wow, you got Trevor coming into a hostile territory.
Yeah, he ain't never seen anything like Arrowhead, bro.
Well, I bet you what he's thinking is he could be thinking, I've been in Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you Doug Peterson's on now.
No, it's not the same.
Nothing until you seen that. No, this ain't nothing like college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I think this defense is hyped up. I think they're freaking ready. I think after last week, I think they're ready to see a normal or a more normal, quote unquote, normal offense. I think they'll be excited and hyped up to get some opportunities at some picks. I think Spags is going to have something for the young man. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure. I think we'll see some cool stuff and some cool stunts on the line and some cool blitzes. I think there's going to be pressure all day. I think it's problems.
Wow, man. You went 40-10.
42-10.
42-10. Wow.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now. Don't go betting your money and saying I told you to. I'm just saying.
I think Andy might be a little nice to Doug Peterson. He might, I'm just gonna beat you. I'm not gonna beat you, but I'm gonna beat you.
We're gonna score on defense next week.
Oh, you who okay. Who do you think gonna have the defensive touchdown?
Oh man, you put me on the spot now. This is just
Yeah.
guesstimation at this point.
Yeah.
Trent, I think McDuffie will get one. I think Snead will get one.
Oh wow, you going to pick sixes?
Yeah, 3 picks, 2 pick sixes.
Wow.
14 points. That gets you your 42.
I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna go old school on you, okay?
All right.
I think Chris Jones gets him a pick six like he did that one year.
Oh, that'd be cool, man. That'd be real cool.
Picks on
On a screen.
had on Jacksonville that one year.
Was it on Jacksonville?
I think he picked six Jacksonville one year.
Oh man.
He put that
fact check that. Damien, if you can find the picture, put it right here.
yeah, he put that juke move on Blake Bortles. I think he picked.
Dude, I think you might be right, man. Yeah. Yeah. You taking it way back right now.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna say Chris Jones gets him a pick six.
All right, bro. Well, hey, man, we run up the time on this one. We ran up the clock big time on this one. We got 2 minutes left, so say what you got to say. Plug your art stuff, please, and tell the folks what you want to hear.
Hey, man, thank you, man. I appreciate having the time, man. This is great, man. We get to have this conversation about football and all this type of stuff. It's a great time. Man, make sure you check out my artist JB Lee on Instagram. Hope you enjoy it. Working on some stuff in the present. So,
do you mind if I pop some of your images of some of your art up here?
No, I don't care. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll do that for you, man, so people can see what you're working with. You got some amazing abilities and talents.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I thank you.
Hey, dude, I had a lot of fun. We got to do this more often. These once a week long forms are cool as hell.
Yeah, man.
I think we can do maybe some quick ones too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, bro. I appreciate you, man. I'll see you next time.
All right, man. Thank you.
See you.
I'm still fly, let's go. It could all be worse, I could be a hater like you. It could all be worse. Clothes to make the man, but that poison's gonna chew you. From the inside out, so right now. Say it with your chest now, say it with your chest now.